Hey guys, it's Maymay, and today I want to show you how to make a bag or box or container using images from your images in your Cricut Design Space. Now, you can do this with any images, either ones you own, ones you purchase, or free ones. I just want to show you how to do it. Now, I've opened to this page because this is where we're going with this. You see how this looks? And we have this little hedgehog. I want to show you. She will fit right here. So when we finish and get her made, we'll have one on this side and then one on this side, and we'll have a little hedgehog bag, which I'm sure you saw in the thumbnail. Now, I want to show you how I did this part, so we're going to start a new file to do that. But this is the bag, the handle, and also the hedgehog. So let's start a new file. So here we're ready to start our new file. And if you'll notice, I am logged in and I'm going to go to Insert Images. Now I'm going to show you how to make the hedgehog today, but you can make a lot of different things once you see how this works. So you'll be able to just play around. So I'm going to search hedgehog in all images. And I want to show you, because I own this hedgehog, I actually have Create a Critter, the cartridge, linked to my Cricut Design Space. This one says purchased and I own it. If you look over here, these say subscribed. I have a temporary subscription because I just got my Cricut Explore, so until that subscription is up, I will still have these. But if you pay $9.99 a month or $99 a year at this point, you can get all of these other images in your subscription, so it might be worth it. I'm still on the fence about it. I'll let you know what I decide. All right, I'm going to click on this little hedgehog girl that is so cute and bring her into the screen. Now, the reason I chose the hedgehog is because she's fairly flat at the bottom. You can see how flat and wide. I have a lot of space to work with here. Now the first thing I want to do is decide what size I want my bag. So I'm going to go up here to Edit, and this is where I can choose the size. Now you can also just pull and drag and move her around, but I want to be a little more specific. Notice this lock is locked. I want to unlock it. By unlocking it, I can change this dimension and this dimension separately. If it's locked, then when I change either one of these dimensions, it will change proportionately with each other. So I want to be able to do this on my own. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to put her in at 3.5 and hit enter on my keyboard by, let's see what 3 looks like. That's not terrible. Now she's not exactly the same size as the one I did earlier, which is the one we'll actually cut and assemble, but this is just for me to be able to show you how to do this. You can change your size to whatever you want it to be. Now what we're going to do is we are going to click on her. So we have selected her. We're going to copy her and I'm going to paste her 3 times. Trust me on this. We're going to paste her 3 times. So 1, 2, and 3. Now the reason I did that is because this little girl is going to be the front of one of our bags, and this little girl is going to be the front of our bag. So you'll need 2 of them for your bag, and then these guys we're going to weld together to create the bag itself. Now the first thing I need to do is flip this one around. If I don't flip this one, then you'll have an upside down hedgehog on one side. So we're going to grab her and grab the rotate tool and flip her around 180 degrees. This is something I love about this software because it tells me what rotation I've put this image at, so I know I'm at 180, which is exactly where I want to be. So now I have a top image and a bottom image. The next thing I need to do is go into Insert Images and find a rectangle. And I'm just going to look for any old rectangle. It don't even matter. That's Southern for it doesn't make a difference which one you choose. So I'm going to pick a rectangle. Now this guy is standing straight up as a rectangle, but I want it to fit between these 2 girls, so I'm going to twist him around 90 degrees. I'm telling you, I love that part where you can get them right at the right angle. Now what I want to do is see how wide I can use this rectangle. Now I'm going to try to explain this to you. The width of your image matters. Can you see how this is a little too long? When I get to the top, it's wider than the actual hedgehog. I need to bring this in a little bit. So I'm going to grab it and shrink it down a bit and make sure that fits inside my hedgehog. By doing that, I know that whenever I fold the sides up on this bag, they're going to fit inside the hedgehog and not be way out here and not the right dimension. This will all make sense as we put it together. Now what I want to do is decide how wide I want my bag bottom to be. So again, I'm going to go to my edit layer, which is right here. And at this point, it's 1.08 by 2.27. 2.27 is good because I drug that length, but I want to change the width of this, and I'm going to make it 1.5, a little bit wider. So now I know that this hedgehog and this rectangle are correct. Now we want to make, I'm going to move this out of the way for a second. We want to make copies of this guy. So I'm going to copy it and paste it. But I'm only going to paste it once to start with, because I've got to decide how tall this image can be for me. I went a little crazy with my mouse. Let me put this back where it goes, which is about right there. Not perfect yet. Now I've got to decide how tall this can be, and let me show you what I mean by that. I'm going to grab this corner and take it back up to 0. Now when I create this bag, I'm going to fold this piece up to the side of the hedgehog. And as you can see, this is a little bit too tall to be able to hide in there perfectly. So I'm going to shorten it just a little bit and then bring it down and see if that doesn't hide inside there like I need it to. And I feel like it will. It'll be inside the hedgehog just right. So now I'm going to take this guy and turn it on its side 90 degrees. And I'll bring it in this area and leave it there for a second. We'll come back to it. Now I need to duplicate it. So I'm going to copy it and paste it because I need one on this side as well. This way, when I fold these pieces up, I'll have a side closure inside my little hedgehog. All right, now we want to line these guys up evenly. Let me show you how we'll do that. We're going to go back to our edit. And the cool thing about our screen here is that we have an X and a Y axis. And I want to show you this. If I click on this one, we have 3.96 as our Y. If I click on this one, it's 3.94, and this one is 3.95. Well, that'll never do. They've got to be the same. So we're going to go right here and make this one 3.96. We're going to go to this one and make it 3.96. And now I know they're even. So I'm going to take this little guy and using my arrow keys on my keyboard, I'm going to arrow over until they touch. The same with this one, until it touches. And that's exactly what I want. Now I have noticed that on the screen they don't look perfect. I'm not sure why, but when they cut, they seem to be fine. So I know they're in the right place because I can look at my X and Y coordinates. Now I'm going to take this little hedgehog guy and I'm going to move him up. Her, see, I'm doing it again, move her up. Now what I want to do is make sure she's just touching and that this back foot and this front foot are lined up in the same place. I'm not as worried about the face. I just want to make sure that the feet are lined up correctly. Pull this one over just a little bit. Okay, so now what we're working with is a hedgehog and then a base and two sides. But we need some tabs to be able to put this together. So we're going to go back to Insert Images. We're going to look for a hexagon. Now, this may not be the way you do this if you already do these things at home. This is just the way I do it because it's easy for me. So I take this little hexagon and I shrink it down a pretty good bit and I stick it right inside this box. And by doing this, you can see that I get this tab that sticks up here. Now, you can make this tab, I would make this tab just as big as you can inside there, and that's about where I'm going to stop. Now, I'm not worried about it not touching here and not touching here. I just know that whenever I put the items inside the container, I want to make sure that they're not going to fall out. So I just need to do that, after the fact. Now we're going to copy it. I'm going to paste it. We need a tab on the other side as well. So I'm just going to bring it here and line it up and let that tab stick out just as far as I want it to. And you really want it to stick out as far as you can, to give yourself a good tab. Now we'll paste again and do the other side. This is just the easiest way I found to do this in Design Space. We're going to paste it one more time. You may know of an easier way, and if you do, please leave it in the comments. And if there is a video for it, leave us a link to it so we will know, because I am just learning. All right, so I've got everything connected, and now I've got everything laid out, and now we want to weld it. So I'm going to take my cursor to the top of the screen here, and I'm going to press my mouse and drag a blue box around all of those things. Now I have selected them all. Now I want to go over here to the layers box, which I'm going to bring right over here for us. And this button that says weld, I'm going to click it. When I weld it, all these pieces will become one, and you'll see that they all change to one color. Now can you see how I have all of my little tabs and things where they need to be? So that's how you do that part. The next part is we're going to create a handle. Now what I did to create the handle is I just went to Insert Images, and I looked up borders. You'll get a billion of them to pop up. You just pick any old border you like. I'm going to roll down and see if I can see the one I used quickly. If I can, I'll just grab one. The one I used was zigzaggy. There it is. I will insert this image. Now, notice that the zigzag is only on one side of this border. Well, I want it to be on both sides. So what I'm going to do is copy this border and paste it. Then I'm going to use my favorite tool, the rotate tool, and rotate it 180 degrees. That said 180, but that is clearly not 180. That's more like it. Okay. And then I'm going to line this guy up with that one and use that top line to kind of get it right close to these zigzaggies. And then we're going to put a blue box around it to select everything. Can you imagine where I'm going now? We're going to weld it. This creates a double-sided border for us, so whenever it cuts, we'll have the zigzag on both sides. Now you just decide how tall you want your handle to stick up and how wide you want it to be at this point by just doing these numbers right here. That's the hardest part. Now then, you'll want to save your work. Be sure to save it, and I even save as I'm going typically, but since I've already created the file for us to cut, this is all I'm going to do for this one, and now we will head to the machine. So once I'm at the machine, I just click Go at the top of the screen, and the Cricut software will then populate my image for me, tell me how many mats I'm going to need to use. It'll tell me if it's printing or cutting, and this is where you'll pay attention if you need to make any adjustments, like if you didn't want it to print and cut, you just wanted it to cut, you'll want to go back and correct that before you move on. But once it's right, you're just going to click Print and Cut. It'll print to your printer, and then the machine will give you prompts from there. So now you can see I've sent it to my printer and I've loaded it on my mat, and I want to point out something. Do you see the bleed here? How it's kind of fuzzy, it's not really perfect. Don't worry about that. When it cuts, it'll be absolutely perfect. It does that so it doesn't have any white edges. So now my computer is telling me to load the mat. So I'm loading it. And then it will tell me to set what is in it, and this is cardstock, so I'm going to turn the dial to say cardstock. Like that, and then I will tell it to go. Now the Cricut is going to start to read the little black marks that you see on the page. That's like where it tells its eye where to go. So it'll take it a few minutes. So if it doesn't start to cut right away, don't panic. That doesn't mean anything. It just needs to find where it's supposed to be. I love the print and cut feature. Because if not, I would have been piecing this guy together to get all these pretty colors, and this makes it super easy. Now, my husband doesn't love it because I'm using a lot of ink, and that ink is so expensive in my printer. Okay, so I'm going to unload this mat. Now, the Cricut is going to prompt me for my next mat, so I'm just going to get it ready. So now I've loaded some craft paper onto my cutting mat. I'm going to load that in. It's still cardstock. It's just craft colored, so I'm going to tell it to cut. And now it's going to cut the handle. And I think I've decided to go ahead and let them both be the same color and use some ribbon for an accent. So we'll see how this works out. I always say that first little move it does, I always call it a curtsy, like it's curtsying. I don't know why it does that, but in my mind, that's what it reminds me of. So now I have a piece of 12 by 12 craft colored cardstock, because that's what this is going to require to cut it. And I am going to press load, and then I will press go. and it will cut out the bag portion, or the part that is the body of the bag. Okay guys, so we have all our pieces, and there's just a couple things we need to do to kind of get it ready. I'm going to move these guys out of the way. They're totally ready to go. Look how cute. We got to doll those up too. And here's our handle. We don't need it right now. But what we do need to do is do some scoring on here. And this is going to be super easy. I'm just going to use my ruler and my bone folder. And the thing is, you can use your scoreboard if you want to, but I just don't really see a need to. What we're going to do is we're going to line up this little notch with this little notch down here at the bottom, and we're going to make a straight line all the way down, straight score line. And that will give us a score at our tabs and at the bottom of the hedgehog. We're going to flip it over, line up the top and the bottom, just like so, and score. Again, giving us all the score lines we need there. And now we're going to score the side of the bag. And what I'm going to do is come to the edge here and score, like so. Flip around and do the exact same thing. So now the sides of our bags will flip up, or our bag rather. Now I want to show you something. I didn't have any 12 by 12 craft colored cardstock, so I just used some striped that I had that was craft on the back. And that'll be cute because that'll be on the inside. So now we can do all our folds. So we're just going to fold this little guy up here, like so, and then fold this little guy up. And then I'm going to fold this one in, and this one in. I scored that one a little crooked. I need to fix that. I need to fix that with my finger. Wow. Okay, and then I'm going to fold the tabs in. Okay, so he's ready to assemble. Do I want to assemble him? Let's go ahead and do it. It won't hurt anything. I'm going to use some art glitter glue because it's fast, it's strong, and it will hold this dude in place. And you can use a dry glue if you want to. I just love this glue. Alright, I'm going to sit it up straight and then just attach one side of Mr. Hedgehog. Miss Hedgehog. I keep doing it. And I'll probably keep doing it, knowing me. Then attach the other side of Miss Hedgehog. Just kind of use your fingers to get those attached, like so. And now I'm going to do the same back here. Now if you don't have this glue that dries really quick, I would suggest using the dry glue. I wouldn't use a wet glue for this if you don't have one that dries fast. Okay. So our bag itself is now assembled. See, and I like the stripe inside. That's kind of cute. So I'm going to sit that aside for a minute and go to these little girls. And let's doll her up a little bit. She'll be cute. Now this is something you're going to give away to somebody, so you probably don't want to spend too much time or money on it. So let's see what we got here. Of course we have a Wink of Stella. I think this bow is screaming for a little bit of glitter. So I'll put some on there. Now with this print and cut feature, in my opinion, you really could invest in the Wink of Stellas because you're going to print this on white cardstock, and you know, you can't print this on a glitter paper, but this instantly gives the feel of a glitter paper, and you can put it wherever you want it. So I think the Wink of Stellas are a good investment for this kind of project. Because we're so used to being able to put our glitter everywhere. Or stickles. You could use stickles. You could even do glossy accents if you wanted to do that, or 3D crystal lacquer. There's so many things you can do to these printed pieces. Okay, and then I think I'm going to come back here and just swipe some glitter in these little guys. Just for a little bit of bling to go on. But you see how quick we turned that little flat image into something sparkly and shimmery? Bringing it where you can see it. See the shimmer and the sparkle? It really changes things. All right, now it's time to, let's do our handle real quick. So I have this little piece of pink satin ribbon that I think is cute, and I got this at the Dollar Tree, so I don't mind using it on something like, on a project like this. I'm just going to run this right down the middle. This art glitter glue works perfect on ribbon too. Dries fast, and then I'm just going to stick this down the middle, straighter than that. There we go. Press that into place. Okay, trim these edges. Now, because I don't want to hold this in place, I am going to use some of my sticky tape on this, which this is the super sticky tape, and this will hold. But if you wanted to use a wet adhesive, you could even use a stapler here. A staple, if you wanted to, or you could use some brads. Lots of options here. So I put the sticky on the outside of the handle. Peel the backer off. I'm just going to peel it off on one side to start with. Then I'm just going to bring my little box over and stick that on. As straight as I can get it. Like so. And then peel this side off. Turn it and stick that on. Alright, now for the fun part. Let's put her on. Now, I'm not going to put adhesive on the back here. I'm going to put it on here because I know that it will touch everywhere here, and I don't want any adhesive to hang off anywhere in an odd spot, Okay. Then we're going to line the nose, the ear, the spikes. We're going to line all of that up. And let anything else hang over. Okay, flip it over and do the same thing. And now we have our bag. And the coolest part is the little feet hang over. So she actually sits on her own little feet and not the bottom of the bag. Let me see if I can show you what I'm talking about. Let's just do this. So like if I was sitting her down, and I'm going to sit her at an angle, can you see how she sits on her little feet? So cute. She's precious. I think she needs a bow on there. So I'm just going to do a bunny ear bow, which is where I take 2 loops, cross them over and stick them through each other. Remember, the trick for this bow is to grab this tail and bring it forward. If you don't do that, you'll have to fidget forever to get it right. So then like this, just mess with it, get it how you want it. I think I'm going to put it on the top. I think that would be really cute up there. Let that hang off. I think I'm going to use my sticky tape again because it'll hold so much faster. Probably the best thing here would be hot glue, but just for the video purposes. And then I'll put a little bit of this just to back me up. Good enough. And then the only other thing I want to do is I want to add a little bling to her. Maybe just a little sequin or something. You guys want to see my bling box? Look at that. A lot of fun, huh? Let's see. Oh, I have these chevron ones. Yeah, let's use that because that'll add some more pattern. So I'll put it on her bow. One right here. And then flip it around and put one on the other side. That's super cute. So there you go. There's your little Hedgehog Valentine gift bag. You can put any sentiment. It doesn't even have to be Valentine. I just wanted to do something pink. Y'all know I don't do pink a lot, right? I was surprised I even had pink in my stash, to be honest, because I do so little pink. But that's how you do it. The biggest thing is to make sure your images have a flat enough bottom, and then you just create these side flaps with the hexagons making the tabs. That's all there is to it. I hope you guys learned something today. I'm new to that Explore. I'm trying. I hope that was worth it for you, and I will see you guys on Friday for another video. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Bye-bye.